My twins were only 6 weeks old when my husband walked out of our lives without a word. At first, everything felt like a dream. I had just given birth to 2 beautiful babies. I was tired all the time, but I was happy. I thought my husband would be by my side, helping me through this new chapter. But the moment we came home from the hospital, something changed. He stopped touching the babies. He wouldn't hold them, wouldn't feed them, and never helped me at night. He started staying out later and talking less. Then his mother began showing up without asking. She acted like she was there to help, but all she did was complain. She told me I was feeding the babies wrong, dressing them wrong, and that I didn't look like a good wife anymore. She would sit in my living room and whisper things to her son when she thought I wasn't listening. I could feel the coldness growing in my own home. Soon, my husband moved into the guest room. He stopped eating with me and hardly looked at the twins. I felt like I was living with a stranger. One morning, I woke up and something felt off. The house was too quiet. I walked into the closet. It was empty. His clothes, his shoes, everything was gone. I ran to check my phone and saw one message. It was short, just his voice saying, "I'm not coming back." My heart sank. I checked our bank account. It was locked. The car was gone. I was alone, with 2 newborns, no money, no help, and no idea why this was happening. At that moment, I didn't realize his mother had planned all of this. She wanted me gone. She wanted me erased from their lives. But life had its own plan. What they didn't expect was for the world to hear my story. And it all started with one moment on national TV. After he left, things got worse. I thought being alone with 2 babies was the hardest part, but I was wrong. His mother didn't stop at just getting him to leave. She started telling people lies about me. She went to neighbors, church members, even people I barely knew, saying I was unstable. She told them I yelled all the time, that I didn't know how to care for my children, and that I made her son's life miserable. Some people believed her. They stopped answering my calls. They looked at me with pity or judgment when they saw me outside. Even friends I thought I could trust began to pull away. I later found out my husband was telling people I was neglecting the twins. He said I wasn't feeding them properly and that he had to step in to protect them. I couldn't believe it. The same man who never helped with anything was now acting like a hero. I had no money. The bank account was still locked. My name wasn't on the car, so I couldn't use it. I didn't have any family close by. I spent most of my days holding my babies and trying not to cry in front of them. I didn't want them to grow up feeling the sadness I felt in that moment. One night, I sat on the floor feeding both babies and just broke down. I picked up my phone and called the only person I hadn't spoken to in a while, my best friend from college. I didn't know what to say at first. She just listened. After I told her everything, she told me to come stay with her. She said I could have her couch for as long as I needed. She didn't ask for anything. She just opened her door. When I got to her place, she helped me breathe again. She made food. She helped with the babies. She even held them when I needed to sleep for an hour. It felt like the first real help I had in weeks. One afternoon, while we were sitting together watching the twins sleep, she looked at me and said, "Why don't you tell your story?" I was scared. I didn't want to show my face or cause drama, but she said I could do it anonymously. She showed me how to post on a site where people tell their stories. She said someone out there might understand. Someone might care. I didn't know what would happen. I didn't expect anything. I just needed to speak. So that night, when the twins were asleep, I started writing. Just the truth. No drama. No lies. Just what had happened to me. After I posted my story online, I didn't think anyone would care. I didn't even expect many people to see it. I just wanted to let it out. I wrote everything that had happened to me, how I had been left alone with my babies, how I had no support, and how I was trying to survive day by day. I didn't name anyone. I didn't want to cause harm. I only wanted to share my truth. By the next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The post had spread fast. There were thousands of comments. Women from all over were sharing their own stories. Some said they had been through something similar. Others said they believed me and were proud of me for speaking up. Some just sent kind words and prayers. It was the first time in a long while that I didn't feel completely alone. People started sharing the post on other platforms. Strangers were defending me in the comments. They were calling out the kind of behavior I had experienced. Some even offered to send things for the babies, but I didn't ask for that. What meant more to me were the messages from other mothers. They made me feel seen. Then something unexpected happened. I got a message from someone who worked on a daytime talk show. At first I thought it was fake, but my friend checked it out and told me it was real. The producer said they had seen the post and wanted to know if I would be willing to tell my story on their show. I was nervous. I didn't want my face all over the internet, but the producer said we could blur the babies' faces and keep some details private. My friend helped me record a short video. It wasn't anything fancy, just a simple clip of me holding the twins, changing diapers, and feeding them. I spoke softly and told my story again, this time out loud. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just talked. I think people didn't expect that. Maybe they thought I would be angry or loud, but I was calm. I had already cried so much. Now I just wanted peace. The producer thanked me and said the segment would air soon. I didn't know what would come next, but something inside me felt lighter. I had been quiet for too long. Now, people were finally listening, and for the first time, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like someone who had something important to say. The day the TV segment aired, I was at my friend's house sitting on the floor with my babies. I didn't know what to expect. I just held them close and waited. When the show started, I felt my heart beating fast. The faces were blurred, just like they promised, but everything else was shown clearly. My voice, my words, my truth. They played short clips of the babies and showed screenshots of the messages I had received from my husband. They even played a recording of one of the voicemails he had left. The host spoke gently, but with strength. She looked right at the camera and said, "Some men walk away. Some are pushed. This one was engineered to vanish." Her words hit me deep. I had always felt like something had been planned behind my back, but hearing it said out loud made me feel seen. As the show continued, I watched the audience's faces. Some were shocked. Some looked angry. Many were holding back tears. It felt like, for the first time, people believed me without question. I wasn't just a woman who had been left behind. I was a mother trying to protect her children and survive. And now, people saw that. Not long after the show aired, things started to move quickly. My friend showed me that the segment was being shared online again and again. People were commenting, reposting, and talking about it everywhere. I received kind messages from strangers. Women were reaching out with support, and even some men said they were sorry for what I had gone through. But not everyone was happy. My mother-in-law saw the segment too. I heard from someone that she tried to have it taken down. She contacted the network and claimed it was fake. She said it made their family look bad. But the producers had all the proof. Screenshots, voice messages, everything. Nothing had been made up. The biggest shock was what happened with my husband. A friend of his told me that he had been out at a restaurant when the show came on the TV there. He watched it right there, in front of everyone. They said he just stared at the screen. He didn't say anything. He didn't move, just frozen. Maybe he didn't think I'd speak. Maybe he thought I'd just stay silent forever. But I didn't. And now, the truth was out for the world to see. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it because I needed people to know what had happened, and because I wanted my children to grow up knowing that their mother never gave up. After the show aired, I stayed quiet. I didn't post anything new. I just focused on my babies and tried to keep things calm. But then, out of nowhere, I got a message from my husband. It was short. All it said was, "Let's talk. It's not what you think." I stared at the message for a while, but I didn't reply. I didn't know what to say to someone who had walked away without a word. Soon after that, my friend told me that his mother was getting angry. She had started telling people I was lying. Then she began saying she would sue me for talking about the family on TV. I wasn't afraid of her anymore. I knew what I had shared was the truth. I had the proof, and the producers did too. But still, her threats showed me she was trying to control the story again. People online weren't buying her lies. Her name started trending in our area. People were calling her the mother-in-law from hell. Some even made videos talking about how cruel she sounded. Others said women like her were the reason so many mothers suffer in silence. It wasn't just my story anymore. It became a conversation that touched many lives. I decided to post again. This time, I shared a picture of one of the twins sleeping peacefully, holding a soft toy. The caption was short and honest. He left before he ever held them. I didn't say anything else. I didn't need to. That one sentence said everything. The post spread quickly and more people started following my page. They weren't just curious. They cared. A few days later, I got another call from the TV show. They asked if I would be willing to come back, this time for a live appearance. They said people had asked to hear more from me. I was nervous, but I said yes. This time, I would bring my babies with me. They had only seen blurred photos before, but now I felt strong enough to show them. I wanted the world to see who I was really fighting for. My friend helped me prepare. We packed diapers, bottles, and extra clothes. I wore something simple and neat. I didn't need anything fancy, just myself, my children, and my voice. This wasn't about getting attention. It was about standing up for myself and letting other women know they could too. And this time, I wasn't scared. When I walked onto the stage, holding both of my babies, the crowd stood up and clapped. It felt unreal. I had been through so much pain and silence, and now people were cheering for me. My heart was beating fast, but I held my babies close and smiled. I didn't cry. I just breathed and took it all in. I wasn't standing there as someone broken. I was standing as someone who survived. The host greeted me warmly. She asked how I was doing, and I simply said, "I'm better now." Then I looked into the camera and said, "They plan to erase me." Instead, I became a voice. The audience went quiet. That silence said a lot. I could feel that they understood what I meant. I wasn't just speaking for myself anymore. I was speaking for other women who had been pushed aside or ignored. Then the host said they had something to play. It was an audio clip. I didn't know what was coming, but I trusted the team. The moment the voice started, I froze. It was my mother-in-law's voice, sharp and cold. She said, "You need to cut her out before she ruins your life." People in the studio gasped. Some looked shocked. Others looked angry. You could feel the mood change instantly. I stayed still. I had already heard words like those before, just not in public. Now everyone else could hear the truth too. The clip ended, and the host gave me a gentle nod. She didn't need to say much. Everyone could see what had been done to me. Online, the clip was already being shared. People were commenting, tagging others, and writing about how wrong it was. Right after that, something happened I didn't expect. My friend whispered something to one of the staff members. Then I saw her, my mother-in-law. She had somehow gotten past the entrance and was trying to walk onto the set. Her face was red, and she was shouting. I didn't hear her words clearly, but I knew it was about me. Security moved quickly. They stopped her before she reached the stage. The crowd watched in silence as she was taken out. I looked down at my babies. They were calm, one resting against my shoulder and the other blinking at the lights. I kissed the top of their heads. I wasn't scared anymore. The truth was out there now, and no one could hide it. I didn't plan to become a public figure, but life had pushed me forward, and I chose not to step back. After the second show, things began to change in ways I never expected. A few days later, someone from a media company contacted me. They had seen the show and my posts online. They said I had a calm and honest voice that people trusted. They asked if I would be willing to start a podcast. The idea was to speak with other women who had been abandoned, just like me, and give them a chance to be heard. I didn't say yes right away, but I thought about it for a few days. The more I thought, the more I felt it was the right thing to do. While that was happening, my husband tried to come back into the picture. He posted something online, saying he was sorry for everything. He said he had made mistakes and asked people not to judge him, but people did judge him. His post got hundreds of angry comments. Many people reminded him that he had left before even holding his babies. Some people posted clips from the show and screenshots from my earlier posts. His plan to look good again didn't work. Then his mother tried to defend herself. She made a video trying to explain her side. She said I had twisted the truth and that she had only been trying to protect her son. But the video didn't help her either. People didn't believe her. They saw it as fake and selfish. Her video was shared a lot, but mostly by people making fun of her. It didn't take long for her to stop talking altogether. Seeing how many people supported me, I wanted to give something back. I started a small fund to help other single mothers who were struggling. I used the money I got from my online supporters and viewers. Some people gave a little, some gave more, but together, it added up. I used the fund to buy diapers, food, and even help pay for rent for some mums who were left alone with children. I shared updates so people could see where their help was going. Then something special happened. A lawyer reached out to me. She had seen my story and wanted to help. She said she would work with me for free to make sure I had full custody of my children. I felt so thankful. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel alone. I had support, not just from strangers, but from people who truly cared. Everything that was meant to break me was now becoming the reason I stood tall. He sent a message asking to meet. He said he wanted to explain things face to face. At first, I didn't reply. I needed time to think. When I finally agreed, I made sure everything would be done safely. I brought a trusted friend with me, someone who could witness the meeting. I also made sure it was recorded, not to cause drama, but to protect myself and the truth. We met at a small public place. He looked nervous. He started talking quickly, saying he was confused and scared back then. He said his mother had pushed him to leave. He claimed she made him believe I was dangerous and not capable. He kept saying he didn't mean for any of this to happen, that he didn't want to hurt me. He talked about how lost he felt and how he wished things had gone differently. I listened without interrupting. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I just waited. When he finished, I opened my phone and read aloud one of his own messages from months ago. The one where he had written, "She won't last 3 months without me." I looked straight at him while reading those words. His face changed. He went quiet. He tried to say it was a joke or something taken out of context, but I didn't let him continue. He then started acting like the victim, saying he had lost so much too, that he missed the babies, that he felt left out now. He said he wanted to be part of their lives again. He even asked if I would think about giving him another chance. But his words felt empty. They didn't match what he had done. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just stood up. I picked up one baby in each arm. They were both calm and quiet. I looked at him and gave a soft, tired laugh. Then I turned and walked away. I didn't say another word. That moment wasn't about revenge. It was about peace. I knew I didn't owe him anything anymore. He had made his choice, and I had made mine. I walked away knowing I had done everything I could to stay kind and strong. He had once said I wouldn't survive without him, but here I was, holding both our children, standing tall and walking forward. I didn't need him to see it, but I knew he did. Things started changing in ways I never imagined. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was growing. More people began reaching out to me. Messages came in from women I had never met, thanking me for speaking up. They said they felt seen, like someone finally said what they couldn't. I kept working on the podcast, sharing stories that mattered. Every week, another mother came forward to talk about what she had gone through, being left, being blamed, being silenced. It didn't take long before the podcast started getting attention. People were listening. They weren't just feeling sorry, they were learning and supporting. One day, I got an email from a magazine. They said they wanted to feature my story. I wasn't sure at first, but the writer was kind and patient, and she let me speak in my own words. When the article came out, the headline read, "She didn't just survive, she spoke." That line stayed with me. It felt like my life had found a new meaning. After the article, things moved fast. 2 different publishers sent messages asking if I had thought about writing a book. I had, not for fame, but for every woman who needed to know she wasn't alone. I started writing late at night, after the twins were asleep. Page by page, I poured my heart into those chapters. Meanwhile, the podcast kept growing. More mothers came forward. More listeners tuned in. We reached 100,000 followers in a few months. It wasn't just a number. It was a sign that people cared, that women's voices mattered, but not everyone was happy. His mother, the one who started it all, tried to reach out again. She sent messages through other people. She wanted to talk. She said she had learned her lesson and just wanted to see the twins. I didn't reply. I went to court and filed a no-contact order. I wanted peace. I had earned it. One evening, I heard from a friend that my husband had been spotted at a quiet bar, alone. The TV there had my podcast's clip playing, on mute. He just sat there watching. No sound, no reaction. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel proud either. Just still. That part of my life was behind me now. I had broken something heavy, something old, a pattern of silence, a circle of blame. And I did it not by shouting, but by telling the truth, simply and clearly. And that truth, finally, was enough. I took a quiet photo one morning. The twins were playing on the floor, full of laughter and energy. Behind them, my podcast mic stood on the table, waiting for the next story to be recorded. The scene felt calm, but full of meaning. I shared the picture online with a short line. He left before they could say his name, but the world knows mine. The message touched many hearts, and kind messages started pouring in. Not long after, I was invited to speak at a women's summit. I stepped onto the stage, feeling both nervous and strong. The crowd welcomed me with warm applause. I looked around at the faces, women from all walks of life, each carrying their own stories. When the room became quiet, I spoke clearly and gently. My first words were, "When they tried to erase me, they forgot one thing. I know how to write." In that moment, I felt the weight of my journey and how far I'd come. I had found my voice again, and I was using it to lift others too. It wasn't just about what I had lost. It was about who I had become, and I wasn't alone anymore.